We're going to start the 10-minute clock right now. In 2 minutes or less, I'm going to go through each slide. At the end, I'm going to take questions. We could potentially be done in 12 minutes. Is everybody good with that? All right, thank you. So let's start the timer right now. All right, so the Frantic Five framework. Thanks for letting me let me cover this in advance. I appreciate your time. On this first slide, have you ever believed in your product but felt uncomfortable asking people to pay for it? You know you can help them. You know it works. It's made a difference in your life. But when it comes to asking for money, something feels tight in your chest and you're like, nah, I just can't. This is so awkward. I'm introverted. Okay. So this course is for you if that's the case. It doesn't mean that you're bad at sales. In fact, it means that you were never taught to sell with integrity and confidence at the same time. And that's the key thing. With the Frantic Five framework, exists so that you never have to choose between being a good person and making money. You can be a good person who makes money. Okay, that's the bottom line. If you hate sales, that actually is a good sign that you are under a lot of pressure, you don't believe in your product, and you're not really helping people. Okay, that's if you really like loathe, like you can't, you're dying daily in a sales job. You know, you got to look at that. You got to look at what's going on and be like, oh, something's off. Okay, sales should feel clean, not creepy. So what what this does in the Frantic Five framework is that it's going to create true urgency, not fake urgency, not like I'm on a webinar and 100 people are here and they're not even really here, because you can see in the bottom right hand corner that it was recorded 3 months ago. You know, that's total lies. That's fake urgency. What this does with this framework is it creates a waiting. You realize that waiting is dangerous. Okay. And what I mean by that is people don't change when it's convenient. They change when the same thing going on over and over again becomes too painful. And a lot of people right now are either under earning or undercharging for their services. And they're quietly afraid that their dream is slipping away because they don't have the confidence to ask with integrity what they are worth. This is big. And I will teach you in this masterclass, which is 5 days long, I will teach you how to do that, how to get what you should be earning and how to charge the correct amount and how to feel with confidence and integrity that you know you're providing the right value, that you're actually over providing. Okay. And that's why I need to think about it is so dangerous. Most people don't really need more time to think about anything. What they need is a reason to stop waiting. I can say that 1,000 times and you got to hear it 1,000 times to be like, oh, okay, that's what that really means. Because what I just said is so deep with the onion that it takes on its own form. But anyway, we don't have time for that. So waiting feels safe until it becomes expensive. So what I mean is, if you're waiting and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't really need to replace the HVAC. You know, it's working. And, oh, it went out again. Darn it. Let me call the HVAC company. Okay, I only spent $100 that time. That's better than $9,000. Okay. Well, we'll just roll the dice. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the dead winter in Nebraska, where I'm at, minus 30 degrees hits, and there is no working heater. And everybody is booked for the HVAC company in a 4-hour radius. And you have to wait 3 months while it's minus 20, minus 30 degrees out. Okay. That's when waiting is painful. That's when waiting becomes expensive, because you're going to have to go 5 hours away to someone who's available. You're going to have to pay them 5 times the amount of money to travel to you. Okay. True urgency doesn't pressure people. It just wakes them up. They're like, hey, here's the end result if you don't solve this, which is what I just described. Wouldn't you rather solve it now for 5 times less the amount of money? Just think about that. That's pretty. Woo! I'm giving some good nuggets here. Next slide. 3. We only have 6 slides to go through, so we're halfway there. Using subconscious psychology. Okay, so here we go. People don't buy because of logic. They buy because of how they feel about themselves. That's also why people don't move forward. They've been burned before. This framework does not promise a magical solution. What it does is it gives you a better way to position what you already have. Okay. wow, I have to break that. It takes a whole day to break down what I just shared with you, by the way. Okay. And then you don't need a new product. What you need are new lenses. Like my eyeglasses here, they might be like a little blurry. And I'm like, why can't I see? Oh, wait a minute. I got a new pair of glasses. Now I'm awesome. Like I actually literally went from single lenses to bifocals. I literally had that happen a few months ago. And now I'm like, okay, now I can see again. I needed a new pair of lens. When people feel safe, understood, and seen, then they move. You don't have the right to ask for money on people who don't know you. That's the bottom line. So I'm going to teach you in the day 3, like how do you use psychology in a good way that's not manipulative? How do you get them to see the future? And a lot of times, like in the content world, it will look like in social media, if I could go back in time and talk to myself, what would I say to myself? You think you're going to be so rich, you're going to do this job, but in reality, you're going to be working from home and 5 feet away from you. Your kids are going to be right there playing, and you're working at home. And you thought, oh, I could be close to them because I'm working from home. But no, let me tell you why you're wrong. You're going to get a job, and they're going to overwork you. They're going to make you work on the holidays, and then you're all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I wish I could be with my kids. I wish I could bust down the stupid door behind me and go give them a hug, but you can't because you have to pay the rent. Because if you don't pay the rent, you're going to be evicted. Whoa. Okay. Now that's part of the how already. And I'm going to stop there because I don't like to reveal the how, but that's just a little tease. Next slide. Day 4, we're going to cover how it builds irresistible value. Okay. People don't buy because of price. They buy because of what they believe they're getting. Whew. Like I said, this takes 30 minutes to go over that. When something finally makes sense to you, it kind of feels unreal. Not because it's fake, okay, but because you've never seen it presented that way before. Because everyone's used to the fake gurus who lie, and they're used to being bamboozled. So when you, with integrity as a Christian, present your product properly, which I teach you how to do, that with certain ways of word tracks that you use. I teach you a chat GPT prompt that will give you who you are as a person, and it helps you create word tracks on what you can say over and over and over again. And that's in workshop day number 4. Okay. Clarity always feels powerful. When someone believes your offer could actually change their life, price disappears. So like if in the case where the person with the HVAC broke down, like if you talk to someone on the phone and they are there for you and they're like, okay, yeah, what you said to me is incredible. It can change my life and help me because I've got a 2-month-old baby. I need the heat. And you said you could be here tomorrow. I believe in that. I don't care. I'll pay you 20 grand. I'm going to go get a loan. I don't care. You come here tomorrow. I don't care about money. Solve the problem. Okay. Solve the problem. When you solve a problem, you make money. When you chase money, you don't make money. When you solve a problem, money follows. I think we just got one more slide left, guys. Just one more. You're so patient. All right. Most people don't actually lack money. And in day 5, I talk about how making an investment can become a no-brainer. Okay. So most people don't actually lack money. They lack a system that brings money in. Okay. Staying stuck is always more expensive than learning something new. Oh my goodness. I could go on for 15 minutes about that. A no-brainer decision happens when the cost of not changing feels bigger than the cost of investing. Okay. People don't say no because they hate you. No matter how you feel, no matter how they react, no matter how rude they are. I mean, they might hate if you say something wrong, but they don't hate you. They are usually mad about the company, especially when you're selling for a company. They say no because they're afraid. 9 out of 10 times. They say no because they're just fearful that something you offered might actually change them. It might actually solve their problem, and they're comfortable being in the mess. Okay? That's a big thing. Fear disappears when the upside becomes clear. Let me say it again. Fear disappears when the upside becomes clear. And we're going to cover that in day 5. So this is actually a bonus day, number 6. You get an extra bonus with me. If you have, okay, so we're going to talk about laying proper perspective. Most people don't make bad decisions. They make decisions from bad frames, like bad frame of minds, basically, or bad perspectives. Let me ask you something. If you had full support from everyone you love, would you do this? Would you invest in this 6 day, 5 day with the bonus 6 day workshops I'm telling you about? If the answer is yes, then you already know this is right for you. Perspective changes everything. It shifts from thinking like, how much does this cost again? How much is he? Like, I haven't even told you how much this costs yet. I usually say that in the front contract, but what I did tell you in my upfront contract is I'm not going to ask you for any money today, so you could chill out and enjoy this presentation. So, so you shift from how much does this cost? You shift from that frame of mind to what will this make me? Okay. So here's the thing. Like I just saw a program that will teach me AI. And then I had a cost with it, $77. And then I was like, oh man, how much does this cost? 77. And then I realized, wait a minute, I can learn everything for that 77 and increase my skill level. And then I can charge to go teach that to others. What will that make me? I'll make back my 77 right away the first time that I have one customer. How many times have you heard Michelle say, what do you invest? You get one customer, you break even. Does it look different now? Now that you're looking at it the perspective of the FRANTIC FIVE that I'm talking about? Okay. So I'm done with my slides. So I want to bring this in for a landing here. Now, my new upfront contract. I want to take 5 minutes. Is everyone good with 5 more minutes? Okay. Before I open it up for questions, I just want to take 5 minutes and I want to present to you the beginnings of how this workshop works. And I want to just kind of invite you to go down the next step to potentially investing in this. Number one, Michelle, if you're watching this in the replay, you asked, what about my OGs? My OGs are going to have a different conversation that's only in a private Zoom for them. And they're going to get something different than everyone else because they're my OG. And it's about time that I pay you guys back for helping me build this to 73 people. And so you're going to get a reward that is going to blow your mind. And you're going to be like, what? You offered what? What? You offered what? Okay. And so, yes. So let me wrap this up in a bow tie for you guys. When, number one, I'm not going to tell you what the cost is. I don't want that to be a distraction. But what I will tell you is it's affordable. You're going to get 5 days. It's going to be what I consider underpriced. And by design, I'm going to underprice it. And for a reason, there's a business structure there. But anyway, it will be priced correctly. It will be affordable. It's not going to be $2,000, $5,000. Okay. That's not the cost of it, but you will get 5 days with me intimately. And you'll be a first hour session, and then you have a second hour session with questions. And each session could potentially be, it could be the whole night could be somewhere between 40 minutes long to however long it takes for questions. Because the content I'm going to cover each day is going to be about 40 minutes. Okay. So if you can invest in yourself and see the value of the transformation I'm offering, then 40 minutes is not very long to sit. And I may not even take the full 40 minutes to teach everything. But what I will say is this, the second session is where all the transformation happens, because then I will take 1 to 3 people and actually walk them through the exercise. I will actually solve the problems that they're having. That's why it's worth the VIP. If you don't take the VIP, you'll just leave and be like, oh, that was good information, but I don't know how to apply it. How to apply it. Okay. That's why the VIP is so powerful. I can't do that for everyone. That's why I'm saying I can only do 20 people for this next class. 20 people. Because I want everyone to be heard. I want everyone to have a chance. I don't want to just sit in a room of 100. I'll just do more 5-day workshops, because it's not valuable for you to pay X amount of money and not be able to ask your question. And it also decimates my time, because if I sit there and I answer 100 people's questions, then it'll be 3 hours worth of stuff. And I don't want to do that either. No one wants to hang on for that. Or maybe you do, because you're getting good nuggets the whole time. So I'm trying to do a win-win-win there. So that's why I'm limiting this to 20 people only for the first go on this. And then also what I do is I present with the 5, you learn something on day 1, you learn something to close, because basically what the FRANTIC FIVE framework really is I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to charge you, just for the sake of example, $100, let's say $97 for all 5 days. Okay. But what you get are master resell rights on my program. You get to go sell and make yourself $97 a shot with me teaching it and you plopping it into your, I'll give you the course key. You put it in your community. You immediately get the $97 infusion of money. I take no money. I take no cut. You make 100% profit on that, on something that will transform the way you close. And then, especially for you VIPs, you get 5 more bonuses. 5. That's why I'm calling this the FRANTIC FIVE framework. This is how you make a no-brainer offer. You build the irresistible value so high that they're like, what? I get that? That's $300 value. What? I get that? That's a $600 value. What? I get that? I get to make perpetual money all the time. That's evergreen. Oh my goodness. And I get 2 more things that I get. What the heck? Of course I'll pay you $97. This is a no-brainer. That is the essence of the FRANTIC FIVE framework. Okay. I gave you a little bit of the how. But trust me, if you don't come to the VIP, you will not do it right. You need to learn how to do it correctly so that you don't crash and burn and give away too much. How do you know you're giving away too much? Okay. I talk about that. I teach you how to not give away too much. That's just one of the things that you have to pay in order to learn the knowledge. So that's all I got. Was that 5 minutes or less? Okay. I'm going to open up for questions. If we don't have any questions, we can be done in about 2 minutes.
I don't have a question, but it seems like it's going to be a really good, thorough workshop. A lot of the things you've mentioned are things I've always wanted to know.
I like that I'm hitting things that are applicable. And so, Ruben, I think you're off mute.
So are you doing this through webinars, or are you doing them on sales calls, or a combination of both? Like when you trying to offer a presentation and guide them to an offer?
Awesome question. So yes, for both. I do a weekly webinar that I'm launching starting next week. That will be preempting people to basically a regurgitation of what we just did today. And so I, just like Michelle does with those weekly webinars to get people to buy the Legacy Builder, the only difference is I'm swapping out Legacy Builder with this 5-day masterclass. So that's something that I want to put on YouTube, so that way it can be evergreen for me and something I can teach you to do yourself. So that way, when I give you the master resale rights on it, I will equip you within the workshop. Really is what it is, because a webinar is 1 day. That's what a webinar is. So our webinar is tomorrow with Michelle at 11 a.m. She has no more things. It's one session. It's 30, 40 minutes done. That's a webinar. A workshop is a multi-day. Okay. So you're going to have more than 1 day. You might have a first session that's free and you have a paid VIP. So that's a workshop because it's got 2 sessions or more going over more days. So I do a combination of the two. I bring them in. I broadcast out in social media. Hey, sign up for my email list because you've got a new seminar coming. There's a new workshop coming up that's 5 days long. It's going to break through these 5 topics. And actually what I don't want to steal the thunder here, but I'm going to give you marketing material that is plug and play. I'm going to make this so easy for you to sell this. It's like crazy. So yes, does that answer your question? And by the way, the logistics are we meet via Zoom.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Good question. Okay, so I'm going to close this all up with the next action, and that is simple. I want you all to be watching. I'm going to be doing some announcements on my free school community. So for all of you who are joining me on YouTube as well as on Facebook, this is how you get into my community. So it's legacyblueprintnow.com. You just go there, put in your email, and then I will shoot you an email that will give you the 2 Zoom links. One is for the webinar tomorrow. If you get this, hey, JJ, what's up, my brother? Oh, my goodness. I used to work with this guy slanging internet back in the day. Cox Communications. Bringing it home. Anyway, sorry, guys. It's one of my best friends just joined me live on Facebook. Brother JJ, you need to give me a call, my friend, or send me a message and I'll call you. That'd be good. So yeah, this is what's up. So I'm teaching sales now, brother. That's what I do. I teach sales for a living. And the records that I broke when I was at Cox Communications. So anyway, dude, let me tell you about this. JJ, he can confirm this. Anybody live on Facebook right here. Cox Communications, when I worked there, sorry, commercial for me. When I worked there and JJ was there, he actually trained me. It's hilarious. And this was before digital boxes were even a thing, where it was analog and you plugged in a cord in the back. Everyone was like, oh, I can't sell a digital box. It's so hard. It's new technology. What did I do, JJ? I crushed it with an 86% close rate. 86% close rate. Everyone else was at 2%, 4%. They're like, what the heck are you doing? How are you selling? I mean, it wasn't even the same stratosphere. And I go, it's just easy. All I do is I assume the sale. Everyone wants it. There's so much value there. And no one says no. Well, 14% said no. Those were the people that were really like savvy and they're like, can I save $2 a month? I don't want to buy that. I was like, okay, well, you're missing out because you're going to be in a dinosaur pretty soon. I mean, I don't sell it that way, but that's my frame of mind. I was like, just assume the sale. And then I had to teach everyone. And because I taught everyone how to do that, the whole entire, I mean, this is like 4 teams of salespeople that had like 8 to 10 people on each team. Everybody's close rate went up to 20% because of my teaching. Then it went up to 40% when I did another teaching. And it became normal to sell them at 60% or higher because of my teaching. Okay. So that's what's up. That's what's up. And if you don't believe me, JJ can, he knows what I did. He knows what I did. That's a legit thing. I broke that record that nobody thought they could break. Now, this is the kind of pattern that I do. I got a job at a Berkshire Hathaway company doing workers' comp. And, I broke how many submissions, like they couldn't believe. No one had ever won the most submissions as many months as I did. There was a year where I won 8 out of 12 months. Everyone got sick of seeing me as the number one person. Okay. It had never been done. No one had ever done 2 months in a row or 2 months for the whole year. No one had ever done more than 2 months winning for a year. I did 8. Okay. And this is because of all the sales tactics that God has literally given me. And for one key thing that'll end this little commercial for me is that I don't settle for sales tactics. I recreate myself every 2 years on purpose. There's always something new. I have never arrived. I am always continuing to learn. And that's why my sales were so much better than anyone else. And the last company that I just quit because I'm doing really well here with the school community. And then that last job, guess how much money I brought them, but just doing a $25 sales on internet. Guess how much money I made them in value. Okay. So there's a difference between how much money I put in my pocket and the value of my customers that I bring in. I'll give you a clue. Every customer that I brought in would increase the value of the company by $10,000. Okay. So guess how much money I made in valuation for that company. Guess in 1 year, the most recent year. Just take a guess. Come off of mute.
Hundreds of thousands, I would think.
That's low.
Oh.
What do you think, Ruben? He's driving. I'll just cut to the chase. $6 million. I increased their valuation with me as a one person by $6 million. By the way, I only worked half the year because I was taking care of my mom. Yeah, think about those apples. So yeah, I think I know a little thing or two about sales, and I'm going to bless you all in the community with that. Okay. So thank you all for joining. If you don't have any more questions, my only next step is pay attention to the calendar and pay attention to my announcement that I'm going to do, which is going to structure how this costs to invest and how you can get a free portion with it to kind of dip your toe in. So almost everything that I do has a free portion to it, because it just makes sense. You don't know for sure. You want to test trial. That's why like Costco gives samples all the time. I want to give a sample. Today was a sample. Okay. And so all that to say, so I'm going to present this as a structured deal. This broadcast is going on too long, so I got to end this. So I'm not going to say how much it costs. Okay, I will. It's $97. Okay. $97 for 5 days. That's a stupid pricing. I just want this to be a no-brainer. And I haven't even told you the 5 bonus. I kind of told you the 5 bonuses. But anyway, $97. This is not a proper execution of the Frantic 5, by the way. This is not. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just teasing. So because I don't want money to be something that gets in the way. I don't want that to get in the way. That's the bottom line. So now you know that's what's going to be, just $97 for this first class only. Okay, because the price is going to go up, and that's a real urgency, because I cannot give this away at $97 at 5 days of my time, just 10 hours. That's extremely generous of me. That's basically me working for $10 an hour. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. This is what I teach. Don't do that. I'm teaching you what not to do, because I want this to be simple, and I have a business strategy behind it, which is why I'm doing it. I wouldn't put it at that price if it didn't make sense for me long term. Okay, so anyway, that's all I want to say. And that so we can remove that as an equation, that anyone can afford that. That's a cup of Starbucks, a day or whatever. That's all it is. And so I want to come in for a landing here. I don't want money to be an issue. Not related to this. We're going to put this aside. Behind me on my screen, if not on Facebook or YouTube, you can't see this. But for you guys on Zoom and on the replay, make sure you save the date. Speaking of free, the Speaker Treasury is going to begin the last Thursday of the month. Rebecca Barrett is teaching about all things CapCut. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to do CapCut and how to do these viral stuff, I'm going to be doing a separate announcement that shows her amazing work. She has over 600 students. Like, this is a very successful woman who has this crazy virality on some of her videos are just insane. And then we have Daryl Hannah, which everybody knows and loves, except for you people on Facebook have no idea who Daryl Hannah is. But anyway, he's a viral TikTok guy. He's some total cumulative, he told me, between all of his TikTok accounts, he's had over 300,000 followers, multiple videos going over 15,000, 100,000. He's even hit probably some million views or whatever over time. He's going to be teaching tactics on how to do your content for TikTok. That is a huge gap in our community. By the way, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I have a free school community, JJ. I'll send you the link on Facebook. I want you to join, because you would be crazy, awesome, great if you would join. And I want to catch up with you, my friend. He's still watching. I love this guy. Don't make me. I'm not going to make the reference. You know what I'm thinking about, that movie that we always joke about. But anyway, inside joke. But anyway, so that's the deal. So you get to learn viral TikTok and you get to learn viral Instagram. That's the bottom line. Okay. So free to attend the first session on the Speaker Treasury. I have 12 high-powered, high-caliber. One person is a 9-figure earner. They're going to be talking throughout once a month. In February, if you want to know how to do your books correctly and how to do expenses and stuff like that, Kim Tracy is going to be teaching there. And she does books for people who make millions of dollars. And so she's going to be like breaking it down to all the way to beginners who have small businesses like Legacy, how you're making money with that, or you're making money on whatever type of business. She's going to go over a special spreadsheet that's going to make life so much easier for expenses. That's February, the first week of February. And then we go on and on and on from there. I'm not going to bore you because there's 12 different speakers on 12 different topics. Okay. So if you have any questions and you want to know more about the Speaker Treasury, take a screenshot of my website and go there and simply take a screenshot right now, JJ. No, just kidding. I'll send you the link. You can take a screenshot if you want to. Anyway, you guys have been really, really good. I appreciate your time. Any final questions or about the Speaker Treasury or about the Frantic Five? Okay, cool. Well, God bless you all. I'm going to end this recording. We'll see you in the next video.